So let me know, has this happened to you? You go in, the examiner is polite, the conversation feels normal, even supportive. You explain your symptoms, your history, and you walk out thinking, that went pretty well. Then later, the opinion comes back negative. You're denied. We see this a lot. For example, a veteran might explain that they've had back pain since service. It's gotten worse over time, and it affects their daily life. They can't do the things that they used to do, and they don't have another explanation for it. The examiner listens. They take notes, and the exam feels thorough. But in the final report, the opinion focuses on something like age or job after service and says the condition is more likely due to that instead of service. That's where the disconnect happens. The conversation during the exam is one part of the process, but the medical opinion is based on how the examiner interprets multiple factors, including your records, the timeline of events, and other possible causes. So even if the exam felt positive, the final opinion is based on that full medical analysis, not just the interaction in the room. You have to keep in mind that after years of talking to veterans about their C&P exams and going through several myself, I've seen a lot. And I want to share something that's happened to me personally. I was being evaluated for my back condition. And like many of you, I received a packet in the mail with the date, the time, the location of the exam. And it wasn't at the VA, it was with a third-party contract company, one of those big ones. Because I'm a medical provider, I took a few extra steps. I like to know who I'm being seen by. And so I looked into who that doctor was that I was scheduled to see. I checked their background, their license, and their area of practice. I wanted to understand what I was walking into. And that's important to keep in mind. This is not your treating provider. They're not managing your care. They are there to perform a very specific exam and provide a medical opinion. So it's not something you want to walk into unprepared. You want to make sure that you have all of your history and you understand your condition, how it affects your functionality, because that's what needs to be documented. That's what needs to be considered for this medical opinion. Now, in my case, the provider was listed as a pediatrician, someone who primarily practices focusing on children, was scheduled to evaluate an adult spine condition. I didn't even know what to think about that. At that point, I wasn't comfortable, and I contacted the company. I requested a different provider, and luckily that request was accepted, and I was rescheduled for a new exam a few weeks later. And that's the point I want to highlight here, is that if something feels off or not right about your exam, it doesn't feel appropriate, doesn't match your condition, you may have options to request a change. And this is something that you should consider if you feel like you came into this situation too. So I share this because I've talked to many veterans who've had similar concerns, but they didn't realize they could speak up. In the next video, I'll walk through how things went after that exam and where my claims still went a little bit sideways. I still ran into a few issues that I'm sure you experienced as well.